How's everyone doing? Thanks for joining me in the garage. Today's project is how to adjust the carburetor on a weed eater trimmer. So what I'm going to do is explain this to you before I go ahead and do it, because once it's running, I have to do it while it's running. It's going to be too loud for me to explain things. So most of these little two-stroke carburetors have adjustment screws. There's one that's closest to the engine, that's your low-speed jet, and there's one closest to the air filter, which is your high-speed jet. So, and then there's an idle screw right here as well for the idle speed. So I'll be adjusting these three screws today. So the trimmer runs, but it bogs down is the symptom when I go to try and hit the throttle. So that's typically, to me, that means it's not getting enough fuel. So you have to have a special screwdriver, and each one of these carburetors might have a slightly different type of screwdriver. This one happens to be a spline screwdriver. Now, I bought a set of these, about 7 of them, on Amazon for about $15, and they're invaluable when you're working on these little two-strokes. You can buy this one particularly, this is the one I use most often, for about $7. So what I'm going to do is fire it up. And I'm going to start with the low speed screw first. Okay, so it does idle, so I'm not going to mess with the idle screw just yet. I'm going to work on the low speed screw. So for each of these screws, what I'm going to do for the low speed is basically I'm going to run it at idle, and I'm going to turn this screw in a little bit at a time until I hear it start to die off, and then turn it back out again. And when I say out, I mean counterclockwise. In is clockwise. And then I'll set it about halfway in the middle of where those two settings were. Then I'm going to hit the trigger and try and get it to speed up to the high end, the top end. And I'll do exactly the same thing. On the top end, I'm going to spin it in until I hear it die, spin it out until I hear it die, and then split the difference. Once I have all of that set up, then I'm going to go ahead and adjust the idle screw. So what you want to do is make sure the air filter is on, and also you want to make sure that there's string in the head. So I have to put a little bit of string in this head, and when I do, I'll fire it up and I'll show you what I'm doing.